All y'all been waiting on the book of Revelations, it's finally here. Boot up and shut up.
Get up, get up, get up.
Inspiration, divine meditation, Davidic, biblical administration. From the valley of dry bones comes a nation, with anticipation of messianic coordination, holy domination, done begging and pleading and conversating. Y'all hate, wall hate, and faith move the nation. Fulfilling scriptures from the big book. Scholars shouldn't but look. Devils tried to bury us, but we were seeds. In the shadow we was hidden, but we still hold the keys to the spiritual mystery and the history of divinity. Paradoxically through the magnificence of the Most High's entity, the only deity, and divine origin of vibration, inspiration and all energy. Y'all hang out, wow. So quickly, let's turn our attention to the Tehillim, the book of Psalms, the 73rd Psalm. And let's look at the verses 1, 2, and 3. Because I believe that Asaph echoed the sentiment of many of the hearts of the believers, especially as we live in this clandestine time of the end, as the book of Revelations unfolds right before our eyes. And we are affronted and confronted daily with a spiritual and a physical battle that is ever intensifying. And so we will find in the Psalms, Mizmur le'asaf, akala tob l'Israel, lebare lebab. So surely Yahweh Allah is good to Israel, to those who are pure in their heart. And we understand in this last and evil day, we must have a pure heart. It is this pure heart that will have the strength and the virtue to stand against the wiles and the machinations of the enemy. It will prevent us from falling into manipulationships and situationships, and help us to discern and find and discover true relationship with reciprocal consequence and reciprocal affections, whereby we grow and become better people, whole and complete people. But we must first be pure in our heart. So we will find that word lebare, the root word in Hebrew, bar, which has several significant shades of meaning to be pure and beloved, but it also means to be empty. How many know we have to be in a position in our hearts where we are ready to receive? And oftentimes we're full of a bunch of emotional junk and filth, and there's no room for the influence and the inspiration of the Most High Spirit. So he's telling us that we must be pure. And the Hebrew word bar primarily means son or heir, but it's often used in context of lineage or descent, and it can also refer to grain or a field, indicating a sense of purity or something that is clean and unblemished. In some contexts, it conveys the idea of purity or cleanness, both physically and morally. And we find it written in the Quran that Yahweh Allah will not change the condition of a people until they what? Change what's in their own souls. And he uses the word nefsa there. Okay, synonymous with the word in Hebrew nefesh, their physical desires. And what we must spiritually understand is that our physical desires are attached to our heart, because that is where they are recorded. That is where we are inspired to act in the flesh. It's from our heart. And this is important for us to understand and recognize. So we know that the Lord benefits those who remain pure in their heart. He's talking about your intentions. He's talking about your desires. He's talking about how you see yourself. Okay? Do you identify with him? So we look at this culture, and historically, in ancient Hebrew culture, lineage and heritage were of utmost importance. As we know, that's also what Bard refers to, with the son being the primary heir to the family name and estate. The term Bard is often used in genealogical context to denote this relationship. Additionally, agriculture was a central part of our life, and terms related to grain and fields were common in everyday language, and they symbolized the sustenance and provision. The concept of purity was also significant both in religious and social contexts, reflecting the Israelites' emphasis on holiness and cleanliness. What is he talking about? Our mind first, right? Because he tells us, guard your heart, for from it flow what? The issues of your life, the results of your decisions, okay? The reality of your mind, okay, is manifested in the flesh. And so therefore we must be holy. We must be pure. Okay, we'll get deeper into that, talking about that. We just want to brush over this real quickly. Then Asaph says this, and this is where many believers find themselves. He says, but as for me, my feet had almost slipped. I had nearly lost my foothold, for I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. What was he speaking to? He was speaking to the worldly phenomenon. This phenomenon has not changed at all. It's just facilitated with a greater efficiency through technology and globalization. But yet what we see is the wicked prospering. At least I can say that's what we saw. We're in the end times. We're actually seeing the judgment happening as well in this hour. That's what makes it so unique. But what's important about this is that the prophecy tells us in Daniel 8:25, we find these important words. Sekel mir matalak, and he will make treachery and deceit and misery to show prosperity. And then it says, Shalwa shakat rav, and through prosperity and wealth and security, he will destroy many. This same prosperity that Asaph saw and almost went astray. He almost lost his faith. He was almost tempted away. He was almost taken out of the ark of safety, like so many of us. We're going through down-pressing situations and oppressive situations. But the only thing that we can do is stay right there, because that is where the righteousness is at. That is where the purity of heart is at. That is where we maintain our peace at. But we see other people taking the easy route and the road that's most traveled. They go and indulge themselves in those wicked acts of prostitution, spiritually and physically. And they indulge in that forbidden profit, in those forbidden benefits, because they have what? Come into relationship with the enemy and become intimated with the enemy's charm and his lies. And they have become a zaniatun, a fornicator and an adulterer, because they believe now in the methodology of the evil one. And all of these things were described in prophecy. He said they have no struggles in their bodies, are not healthy and strong. They are free from the common human burdens. But we know this is just what it looked like. All we have to do is look into social media and look at the effects that are being played out on the international scale, at home and abroad. And we can see the judgment for the things that have been done. The machinations and stratagems that have been worked and have failed. We've seen all of these things come to nothing. And now we're looking at the Messianic age in the face because it arose in the shadows of obscurity. It arose in the hearts of those people who were pure and open and not deceived by the crafty policy and insight of the Antichrist, by the deceptive behaviors and methods and actions and paradigms and phenomenons that have been strategized and formulated to deceive the masses. But instead, they have remained pure and stayed on the path of righteousness and not been deceived by what it looks like. Because if you take a second look, STDs are on the rise. Money is being lost at an all-time high, while the cost of living is skyrocketing, and the number of poor people is growing, and the number of dissatisfied people and people who can't earn a living is growing. Yet we have never acknowledged the Most High, and we wonder why we're in this predicament. He told us in the Word, I'm going to destroy your confidences. And our confidence today is in the wealth and prosperity of the wicked. And a spirit of prostitution is in our hearts because we love unjust gain. And now we have come to the time, and we have come in the hour whereby all must be judged. Because the house of Israel must return, the prophecy must be fulfilled, and everything that has been written must come to pass. What should we be doing? Watching for the signs and living by the wisdom that we find therein. More on this, inshallah. Standing for something or you falling for nothing. Just keep it bossing and stay gripping on something. Hold the line and keep it steady. Stay ready, keep on getting ready. Eyes open, mouth shut. Beat your enemies, hiding in the cut. Never trust no matter what. I don't give up. Show and prove I never be a duck. You ain't no friend of me. You ain't no kin to me. Infrared eyes in the dark. See the enemy. It's spiritual. I stick to the ritual. Mental elevation is a ritual.
I'm addicted to the bass. 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 I'm addicted to the bass.